Oh, they haven't got the logs?
Yeah, yeah, Martino is $1
Well, that right there may have been, I mean, it may have been on the power lines and all that, and they needed it out of there too.
Well, they actually get it out of there from North, that's get off that gas line.
Yeah. I didn't go up there and see it, so I didn't know what all was.
It'd be funny if there's a service line to your house and it's about a $10,000 gas bill next month.
Yeah, every night.
On the meter rereads this month on the billing cycle, we went from 120, they've been working hard on the meters. They were down to 44 this month, 120 last month. So they're getting some stuff done. All right. Alan, you want to open us in prayer?
Yes, sir. Jesus, you've been so very kind to us, and we appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do. Please help us do. Thank you for the things that we ought to forgive. Help us do your business tonight. Amen.
Good. Well, the flag's not in here. We've got floor screens. Y'all didn't know where it's at? All right, we'll just do the pledge of allegiance for that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Roll call, please.
All right, Kerry Brady.
Here.
Jimmy Clark.
Here.
Chris Woolard. Here. And Alan Moore.
Here.
All present.
Okay. You've got November and December minutes. All right, well, got the December minutes, excuse me. Have any questions or anything to add on December minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minute.
A motion to approve the minutes, to have a second?
Yep. I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Chris Woolard.
Aye.
Jimmy Clark.
Aye.
Alan Moore.
Aye.
Kerry Brady.
Aye.
Okay. Approved.
Today's date, the first and 20th, what is today? 23rd?
Today's the 23rd. If we could all sign the right spots, I'd appreciate it.
Hand it this way first, then.
Yeah, just don't give him options. Just do the
Yeah,
last
leave his
line.
last.
You took it from me,
And for those of you who weren't here last council meeting, the minutes will be on glenwoodar.net in the morning. Everything that we go over tonight, every piece of paper we go on that will be, if y'all want to look at anything, it's there. Y'all can, just glenwoodar.net right now. We've got the .com domain name back, but TJ hadn't had a chance to get it all working yet on the .com, so it's .net right now. Okay, we've got 2 months of financials in front of you, November the 30th. First. Man. Be something about smoking, but I don't.
Thought about it?
No. Couldn't stand it. Did y'all see that? No, you done laid on your porch.
I did.
Okay.
Now, you're on camera, by the way.
Well, y'all weren't there, so I
Yeah.
was left it laying there.
He's
Yeah.
fine.
He did?
There's
I
no
knew,
leaving
I knew you were there.
Okay. Y'all got any questions on November's financials?
Did you bring that, or was it in here?
I'm good with it. I'll make
Huh?
Was it in here? The budget?
You got a copy of the budget
Okay,
in
so
there,
I
on
didn't
top of
bring
the
it.
one I laid at your house.
Oh, we
Okay.
regard what we, basically the same thing.
Motion to approve it.
I got an email.
If y'all wanna look at anything, we need to look at approving the, December 31st budget for last year, because it'll have all the changes in it, more so. than
I'll
just
make
looking
a
at the
motion to approve November
motion and second to accept November's, balance sheet as presented. Roll call.
Chris Bullard. Alan Moore. Jimmy Clark. Terry Brady.
Aye.
All approved.
By the way, Billy, when we're quickly approving these past stuff, it's just basically it's a history of what we did.
Yeah, this money right here will go in the budget, that's not money spent yet, y'all gotta approve that, but this is money that's spent, so. There ain't no taking the financials back, it's just the way we were. It's how it ended up each month, and then basically there's nothing we can do on approving the amended budget. Cause y'all need to look at that, but it's where it is too.
We've looked at, I mean, I have.
Yeah, but anyway, December financials.
What stood out to you on the previous year comparisons that was just kind of crazy?
Well, we spent a lot of maintenance money in the water and sewer department, and then we spent that extra money on paving that wasn't in the budget. We'll have to discuss that, like at whatever we'll have to do on the sidewalk project. The money's not in next year's budget, we'll have to use it out of reserves, because the budget won't balance if we put that in there. So we'll go over that when we get there, but, and when you were spending more money on maintenance in the water and sewer department, when you were spending more money on the streets, and y'all approved that before we did it, so. Everything else is pretty much in line.
Make a motion to approve the December financials.
Have a motion to approve December financials, do I have a second?
I will.
Roll call.
Chris Bullard. Jimmy Clark. Terry Brady.
Aye.
Alan Moore. All approved.
Now, if you want to do a lot more looking, this would be the place to look, because this is where everything,
And this has last year's and this year's current.
the first we're gonna do is the 2023 amended budget.
Yeah.
So if y'all got any questions on it, we need to discuss it before we vote on it. But this is the way we ended up the year in every department, so.
You said 22, you mean 24?
Well, 23 is the amended budget,
Okay.
and then 24 is gonna be the budget we're gonna approve for the year we're in.
The packet, like this, it'd be the other one.
Just like the fire department. I didn't have anything to do with the budget. That lobby expense is there every year. You can leave it out of the budget all you want to. That's gotta be paid. That don't need to be out of the budget. It's back in the budget for next year, and of course you spent it this year, so it's back in the budget. It wasn't in the budget. That's probably the biggest thing that stands out.
The only one I noticed was I was looking over at look under police. Your health insurance, we budgeted 22, but we only spent 6. Is that
We
what
didn't have
lost?
officers all the time.
So I'll make sure.
Nothing. Also, we went back, Karen went back and got the loan where we had the COPS grant. And you got Munns and you got, Ingram were on that COPS program. There's $70,000 that wasn't spent there because we didn't have an officer. So they agreed, and we picked up $35,000 of salary in last year, and in the budget this year, we're gonna pay $35,000 to those two cops. $35,000 of their salary is coming in from that COPS grant. So we're gonna get to spend all the money. They let us go back and gonna spend it even though we didn't have the cop. We thought we just lost it, but they come back in and said, no, y'all get to use it. So we put $35,000 in last year's budget and $35,000 this year. That was, I guess it was all in last year's budget to begin with, and we didn't spend it. We thought we weren't gonna get to use it. And they come back in and said, do $35,000 in December, or try to get it used. Do we get it all used, the 35 in December, or November and December? So we can carry that over, but in the budget, I only put 35,000. But whatever that carryover is, you'll see as we go on. That's gonna be additional income in the police department, because you're gonna get to spend that complete 70,000 that was left there. Part of it was done in December, and the rest of it will be done, their first salary, so we use that money up, will be paid out of that, on those two officers, will be paid for, out of that money first. Any other questions?
Guess some expenses went down in the police department.
The phone, why is the phone so
$1,200
expensive?
and he only spent $350.
Because of the cars,
Because of what?
because of all the cars.
They have all cell phones.
Yeah, they've got cell phones in every car, you
That's
got,
wrong.
They
they've
don't
got,
have the Wi-Fi to be able to do
Motorola and all that stuff for the.
that. All that
computers
tracking,
talk back
yep,
and forth.
yep.
the police has got a high dollar, and we're tied into the contract on the city hall for, it was 6 years, y'all are 2 years into that, I can't do anything to get that adjusted down. It can come way down, but it's,
It just seems
Is there a
extremely
buyout
high.
on it?
no.
Now, you're,
You got
You're into
Wi-Fi
that
in
for the
every vehicle.
5-year contract you signed on it, and you're 2 years into it, so, working on year 3.
What's the buyout?
Our new phone, our new switch over there that we put in over there, that we upgraded to, it'll handle the phone system. You just gotta buy a phone to put on it. You don't have to buy anything else. The switch is,
Yeah.
that switch will handle the phone system. But we can't do it because we're on the other. It'll probably save you 10,000 a year, maybe more. But I may not be the mayor, because that's, you can't do that till after this 4-year term's over with for me. You
Have
can't
we
even
had,
change it.
have we had our attorney look at it to see if we can get?
It's
on
the
it?
contract you
Buyout?
signed with Windstream. I mean, I guess you got nasty with them, you could probably get out of it, maybe, but
Do they have a buyout
That's
clause
what
or
I mean, I
something?
thought maybe surely they'd get a buyout.
I'm trying to get all the paperwork together to talk to her, because we've still got stuff turned on that we're paying for, that we're not using.
Yeah.
And I've got to go through all that, but we're having a real hard time getting a lady to talk to us, and DJ and I the last couple of weeks have had a lot going on, and we're gonna get to the bottom of that. We're gonna get rid of the stuff that's not on that contract that we're not using anymore, and there's a bunch on there. I don't know how much yet, but there's quite a bit on there. So that will go down, but the cell phone bill on the police officers' cars won't go down, I don't think. I don't think there's anything we can do with that.
Well, that's paid from Verizon, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. The only thing you could do, check into, is the ones that are on the cars we're not using, put them on sleep or something. We're not using-
You got any of those phones turned on in the police cars that's not being used right now? I think he's already taken care of that.
Oh, good.
We've done seen, or at least, I know you sent it out to us, but if there's anybody in the audience that has any questions on any of this, or they'd like to bring up, I'd give my time to them. We've seen most of the stuff, if not, all of it, gone over it.
If you look at street department income, we're actually coming under budget with everything went on. All the extra we did, we still come in at what was in the
Yeah,
budget.
that's
So
that.
We actually done better than I thought we were gonna do, Billy, to be
One-
honest with you, last year. We had a couple things go our way on a couple grants and a couple, you know, 'cause this year we lost our COVID. You know,
Right.
we was running on a COVID
Budget, yep.
economy there for a minute.
See, like right here, look at that. The street department.
You're gonna have,
Put in
I did not put in
$400 for
next year's budget, the money that's left to pay on the sidewalk projects we're under construction
Little.
on.
Yeah.
Because those were budgeted in this year's budget, so you'll just, whatever was left of that will be in your reserve, and you'll spend that. So if you see a little bump in numbers there, it was in, you don't re-put the money in the budget for a second year, it was in there,
Right.
and we didn't get it all spent, they're not through, so there may be some money in there that's still gonna, that may hit the budget, and that, some of that you'll go into, not all of it, but some of that was in last year's budget that didn't get spent. All right. chemical bills are up at the water plant, but we made more water at the water plant, so. You make more water, you're gonna have more chemical bills. And chemical is went way up from what it was 4 years ago, it's what,
Oh, I
double?
remember when y'all used to gripe at us at $20-something thousand.
And now it's,
And, what are you at now? Is it 50, 60?
where was it, what was it? 105,000.
105. Last time I remember looking at it, was about 4 or 5 months ago.
And basically, Brandon, that, I am correct, that depreciation money is just in the savings account. That's not actually, put $348,000, we have to put our depreciation money, you have to collect and have a depreciation amount. We didn't spend any of that, that's in a CD. It shows it as an expense because they make you depreciate your system down, you have to put that money back, but we still actually have all that money sitting in CDs on that $348,000. Now, then we could come in there and need to spend it sometime, and when we get to where we need to spend it, we can spend it, but it's in the CDs right now, we didn't use any of that last year.
You need a motion?
I need a motion.
Do I need to read this
You
first?
gotta read that thing.
Gotta read the resolution.
All right, so all the fun part. Resolution number 24-01, City of Glenwood, approving amendments to the 2023 budget, whereas the City Council of the City of Glenwood approved the appropriation of funds for operations for calendar year 2023, and has previously throughout the year amended the budget to reflect more correctly expenditures and the revenues, and whereas after reviewing all city account funds, revenues, and expenditures for city department for 2023, we found that the revenues received did or did not exceed both the budget revenues and the total expenditures for the year. However, in all city departments, some expenses slightly exceeded budget's amounts for the year. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Glenwood, Arkansas, that the 2023 budget be amended for the attached document, and to accept the December 2023 budget sheet and income expense financial report to authorize funds expended to the operating the city departments.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Chris Bullard. Gary Brady.
Aye.
Jim McClark.
Aye.
And Alan Moore.
Aye.
All approved.
All right. Okay. Now then, I gave y'all all a budget, proposed budget, and I have since worked on this a bunch, so there's quite a few changes in there. I broke stuff out in the budget because we told everybody we were gonna put, $10,000 in animal control, $10,000 in, parks. Was gonna put money in the fire department, and was gonna fund 3 officers, and in the budget, you're funding 3 officers. And we raised their salary a little more than the other people did, because I tried to get them competitive. We're spot on with what Murfreesboro and Pye County is paying not their heads of the departments. Greg's not getting that, because it's about a $10,000 bump for that down at Murfreesboro with the county and the city. He's got a $2,000 bump for being chief, but we brought the salaries up to where we shouldn't be losing their officers. And then in the budget, you've got 16 hours of part-time too. That's in the budget, plus the 3 officers. And if you look through the budget there, we never have had it broke down this way. If you look on your first couple of sheets, you got police, fire, general fund, and then down there at the bottom, you've got them put together. That's where you've got a balance. Our income is projected to be $525,133.80. Expenses $519,186.37. in all those departments, and actually that's you broke out, the money for the, parks and the money for the animal shelter is broke out. If you look on in the budget, those are broke out too. That's actually all coming out of city general, but that way, anybody that's got a question about it, they can look at it and see.
There's nothing on animal control though, it just has the total.
Should, well, I don't know what the expenses are. So I put down the money in the budget, and we'll have it broke out. I don't know what to put down for expenses, because we never paid it this way. I don't know what to put down.
Salaries or nothing like that?
Well, and that'll be filled in as we go through the year. The money's there, and, yeah. But I didn't know how to put it. I don't have any idea what
are we
the
doing
salaries
right
are.
now? How are we paying him right now? No, I mean, what are we doing? Like, what are you doing like you used to do whenever I was doing it? About 8 hours a week, or what? Yeah.
For animal.
He does a lot of good stuff, so we're taking 3 hours, what is it? And I just took a check, and that's right here, 3 hours a week, 52 weeks, 1 year, and multiply that times the salary, plus the fact and med that we paid them, and you'll be in budget and that, is that I
So all he's doing is 3 hours a week?
That's what we're paying, that's what they decided to pay.
30 minutes a day.
That's gonna have to be adjusted, because he's spending a lot more than 3 hours a week up there. But, if you look over there, I just put the income in,
Daycare, huh?
and the, expenses will, you got $26,370 from what we spent last year, plus $10,000.
No, I get the gist of it, I'm just, I don't know.
We gotta, I don't know what they are, because we haven't ever had it broke out, so I didn't know what number to put in there, other than make sure the money
Well,
that we
I
said
get
was
the
going.
concept, I just thought it sounded funny.
It does. But I don't know what to put in there. I mean, that'll be filled in as the year goes on.
Y'all want to make a decision on how many hours a week y'all want to divide.
Well, then he should show up for those.
But it's gonna pull down the budget.
Yeah. Just like the park income, we paid $6,000 in utility bills last year.
It should take more than 3 hours a week just to clean the place twice a day.
It does.
But we have volunteers that actually do that. He doesn't do it. Yeah. It's the rescue that does the work, and when he can, he shows up, and it is about 3 hours a week. You
Okay.
know? Yeah, and there's that, but I mean, that's why it's probably not filled in there, because it is, right now, it's not what it should be if you didn't
Well,
have a
she
rescue.
just puts it in as one line
Yeah,
before, and now y'all want it broke out, so I put it in there for to break it out.
right.
And it'll start being broke out in your monthly stuff. That's new, it's never been done that way, but they're gonna break it out. And I don't know where to guess to put the money.
Well,
But
and-
we'll put the money where it gets spent, you'll see it
And
each
it'll
month.
change, probably, you know? So,
Same thing in parks. The only
Right.
thing we're paying out of parks last year, which is wrong, because we got people mowing and all that stuff,
right,
was $6,000 for utility bills. That's all
Right.
the water and sewer, some other department
You gotta
paid
watch-
their wage, and that's not
Yeah.
right, but anyway.
right.
But you've got $14,400 in there, because you gotta have that 10% holdback, so. We put $10,000 in there, but you're gonna spend 9,000, and then on the 6,000, you gotta take the 10% out of it too, so.
Yeah. Why couldn't we have a person that was doing the parks and the animal control together? Would that be a position for someone if they did both of those things, or it's still not enough hours?
Well, right now, I'm spending all the budgeted labor that I've got, except I've got one slot I've got one slot open that we don't have filled. And as long as I'm having to get TJ to do the heavy lifting, probably not gonna fill it, unless y'all tell me I got to. Because I'm having to hire an outside contractor to do all the heavy work at the water plant and sewer plant, all the electronics, and
That's a good price too. I mean, he is,
so I'm probably not gonna fill that position unless y'all tell me I gotta fill it. It's in the budget. If somebody great comes along that we think can do that kind of work, we may hire him. The salary's in the budget though.
I'll tell you something, there were fixing to be faced, probably, I don't know when, but it's coming down the pike, but when the mill is starting out, that's a good thing for Glenwood, I'm not down it, but when the mill's starting out, some of the salaries are starting out at hourly, we're gonna be faced with amending the budget at some point, it's just inevitable, you know.
Well,
because
we've
it's
addressed the
just
salaries quite a bit,
We can't
but
We have adjusted them, I'm just saying that's inevitable.
Yeah, you can't.
Of course, you know, there's a lot of perks and you get a lot of time off and then you gotta look at the benefits package and all that, so it's, you know, you gotta weigh it all together, but I'm just saying on the surface, we're probably gonna be faced with that. I just one thing, Billy, I would like to know is, the city of Glenwood people stepped up and helped us pass the reallocation, thing, and it was, we're gonna be in dire straits if we didn't get it passed, and one of the things that I talked to several people about was trying to improve and carrying around, y'all know more about it than I do, of course, on the dogs and such, but is our parks, is I'd like to see us make good on some of our promises to try to improve our parks to where they were, what I'd like to see us do at some point is have someone like, kind of like what Kerry was saying, but I was thinking along the lines of someone that utilized the park on a regular basis, maybe work out some kind of deal with them where we pay them so much a month, and said, hey, we're gonna give you jurisdiction over this park, you know, it's your job to lock it at night, unlock it in the morning, you know, if it needs a bow, call us, if it needs this, if we need a tennis net, call us, you know, and try to work out something with a senior or someone that could use supplemental income that was there, that would be looking out after it. You know, that's something, that an option that we could explore. You know, there might be the right person that's there every day anyway, like, man, I wish I had the ability to clean this place up a little bit.
Yeah, I know we got some complaints on our parks this last year about how bad they were, but it was stretched thin.
Well, when you're sitting on the when I'm sitting on the council and I don't wanna drop my kids off there, and, you know, just looking at it, you know, I mean, it's fine to some degree, but there's room for improvement, is what I'm getting at. But we haven't had the money until Glenwood stepped up on the reallocation, we haven't had the ability to really do anything. And like Billy said, you know, $6,000 a year, you ain't gonna do much with that, what's that, $110 a week?
Yep.
That's why it would need to be somebody that had like multiple, if it was like animal control and parks
Correct.
together or
But that's
something.
the other problem, that's what we do with everybody. You know, we get, one person does sewer and wastewater and everything, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it almost needs to be, they have just two jobs or something to where they can focus on that, you know?
Right,
They get
just animal control
stretched between
and
everything
parks
else
and
that we
not
have.
animal control, parks, water, streets, you know.
Fire department, everything
Yeah.
else.
Ms. Brenda, where in here, or Billy, or wherever y'all put it, where's the money in here that, the $1.50 that comes off the, where's
That-
it at?
that's in
It's
that.
not, I mean, I
It's
know
in
it's
that-
Is
here,
that 19,300?
But it's not-
That's correct,
so that's where it's at?
yes.
That's the fees? Okay.
So that's fees. That'll be
Yes.
the fee, okay.
Yeah.
Kerry, one thing I was thinking on the park was kind of on a subcontract style deal where we've made a deal with
So the
a
10 is the
senior.
sales.
Said, well,
Yes,
give
the
you
10 is-
Yeah.
X number of dollars a year to do such and such, you know, and review it every quarter and see if we want to continue on, you know, do it, just see how it works, you know. Something
I know.
like, you know, where we wouldn't be under the obligation of all the, you know, the FICA and the LOCKY and, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
On parks, if you look at that, because we paid it last year, that $6,000 was in city general's money. So I moved $6,000 from franchise tax and then the $10,000 from the sales tax. So you've got $6,000 less in franchise tax, that's the only way it's gonna work. But that way it's pulled into that account. You paid it anyway last year, it was just paid all through city general. And this is still gonna be city general, but y'all wanted it broke out, so I've got it broke out.
Well, and I know that Beautify Glenwood is talking about projects for parks, but they don't want to put the money into it if we're not gonna have somebody caring for it. You know, it's hard to invest money into parks that aren't gonna be cared for,
Yeah.
you know?
So-
We're doing a lot of work at the parks, but you got a lot of vandalism at the parks. I don't
Right,
understand people
that's
tearing
why
up their own
people
park,
have
but
to
I mean, you go up there to the park and they tear the lavatory off the wall and take a sledgehammer and break it.
Yeah,
It's
that's,
their lavatory, it's not my lavatory, it's their lavatory.
there's always gonna be criminal activity like that unless you have someone checking and going frequently to the
But
park,
that's
so
all-
that was their job.
We don't get anything damaged sunlight to sunlight. It's all after dark. You're not gonna have somebody sitting up there at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. That's when the damage is coming up there. Some kid that shouldn't be out stirring is out stirring. We don't have police that's got time to sit up there and just
What
sit at
about
the
if we
bathroom.
took the approach of if a church group or so, they signed the park out from 6 in the evening until 10 o'clock at night, and they were responsible for that? In other words, 'cause I know a lot of church groups that would love to go do functions at the park, you know, and they're like, okay, we're gonna play softball this evening, or we're gonna do, you know, maybe we could look at something like that, you know, that might work, or we would still, you know.
Is it not shut down at dark?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Were
but
the
I'm just
doors
saying,
locked for the
maybe give them
bathrooms?
an
They not
option.
get locked?
Do we not lock the doors at night when
I
it
don't
shuts
know
down?
that.
They're not locked every night, I don't think, are they, Britt?
No, they were at one time, we was locking them.
Dark?
We was locking at dark, and we would open them in the morning.
But if it's shutting down at dark anyway, just go ahead and lock the bathroom. Then maybe you stop a lot of the, at least the bathroom vandalization, you know.
It's really sad.
Lock the door, that's fine.
The reason you don't have mirrors at the rest area, because you got a certain class of idiots.
Yeah.
Stainless steel.
Hey, Greg, I got a question. This Grant Police JAG, what is that one? Which grant is that? The Police JAG grant? Okay, supply one.
We've got several grants that weren't in the budget in the police department this year. You just gotta check in for the $50,000, we've got to check in today that wasn't in the budget, where we got a grant for body cams and a new recording system where when they pull up front out here, they're not gonna have to take their, it's gonna put their recordings automatically in, the officer, whatever he's got recorded on his car dash or whatever he's got recorded on his, in his personal body cam, that'll all be backed up automatically. The police officer has no choice. It's just going, it's gonna back it up when they pull in up here at City Hall, when they get all that in. And that's in that $50,000 grant that we got. We got the money part and equipment's coming in, but it's not installed yet. It's gonna really put a strain on the street budget in moving this other money, because we've always had money to do $100,000 worth of paving a year. That's gone. When we move the money to give it to the other departments,
Billy, one
that
thing,
money's gone now.
we just spent a lot, we was blessed with some grants, so it helped us get a lot of stuff up in pretty good shape. I will have to add that.
But we should get that, we're not gonna get it this year, but we should get the, paving grant next year for $150,000. We'll get that. And we did get the $500,000 grant to get Mountain View Road fixed. And that's gonna be a big deal.
And we also don't know what the tax revenue is gonna be next year.
Hopefully that's gonna pick up some,
If that picks up, then that'll go.
that'll start helping street.
Brenda, the
work more.
utilities on the sewer, is that including the water bill too? Let's go back to it. Can we not please look into getting the water circulated back and using the water that you're treating? And use it to, see what I'm saying? Like we used to have it down there? That's gonna cut down on utilities there.
At the sewer plant,
Yes.
I just haven't
What are
got
you
around to that.
So we
They turned off
recycled
recirculating
the
pumps.
water. So as you treated it, we had a pump sitting down there. You would use that water to spray down and clean your clarifiers and stuff like that with. You just recycled the water. You already treated it, now you're recycling. That way you didn't have to pay a water bill and use city water to do it. You just use the water you already treated to
That
put
you're
it back
sending out
out.
in the river.
Yeah.
Correct.
I just gotta get all that
Is
stuff
there
back
any way we
working.
can buy water from a cheaper entity than we would?
Yeah, do that.
The sewer plant though's got
Can you
water.
do that? I mean, ain't no
We've
wrong.
got all the pump system in, they just turned it off.
It's,
It's all there, I just haven't got everything back
it
working.
got shut off 5-6 years ago. Don't understand why, but anyway.
You'll have to buy new pumps and all now, I'm sure, but
If they've sit long enough, you will.
That makes perfect sense because the spot he's talking about, I was down there when I got a tour of that plant. You know, and you can go down there with that water right before it goes back in the river. In fact, we got river property right downstream, not too far. But that water, if you were just out hiking, when that thing's doing what it's supposed to, you would literally think it was a spring inside the mountain. It was like beautiful water coming out of there. And so,
Yeah, you said.
it don't look like gray water, I can tell you that.
No, the water that leads into the river from the sewer plant's good water.
Yeah, it's good water.
Clear as the river was.
If you're looking at, where'd I put that? That's in there. You left the Mountain View line off of there. Well, that's on income though. It won't be on the income side, it'll be on the expense side.
What is it for?
On it, okay, in sidewalks, street, there's $593,422.77 in there. The budget will not balance if you put the full amount in there. So next year, we'll have to pick up $147,248. If you look at these black sheets, that's what will have to be picked up in next year's budget. This project will not be done this year anyway. So we're funding part of it this year and we'll fund part of it next year. So,
Come out of the Mountain View sidewalk.
yes.
Okay.
And we're gonna lock with the $593, the $500,000 grant, we got $93,422.77 right now to put in there. We may amend that budget if there's any money in street left to try to get that on up. And then you'll spend that money, you'll go deficit spending the year the project actually comes up, but you gotta get it in your budget somewhere.
Yeah.
And we're locking $147,000, having everything on that in the budget. Just so you know. Yes. We have applied for that and to put a 3-foot throat plus 18-inch throat. It's gonna back up your yard a little bit, but we're gonna try to get that wider so we can be a little safer coming down through there. That's the whole purpose of it. That's the whole purpose of doing Mountain View on that side, is to try to get the road wider. Because it's narrow. When two big semis come down through there, it's narrow. Yeah, that's why we're trying to do this. You'll actually have about 4 foot more road than you had when you get through with it. It'll be concrete instead of asphalt, but that's fine, as long as we get it. And they approved the project that way, so Andy didn't think they'd approve the project with us doing that, and I asked him to submit it that way. And they didn't argue with it, so. Sir? Yep. All right. Did, you have some questions on the budget?
And my comments are just going to be comments. I do have a couple of questions, but for the most part, it's just comments. First of all, big thank you for the city water employees and others that worked so diligently to get our water back up and running last week. We appreciate you. My first comment is about insurance, and we've been talking, talking about insurance. And I understand that the number in the budget for the 2024 insurance line, and they're divided by department, and it's really just an estimate of the premium for the adjusted values on the property, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So really, this is just a comment. So when the insurance policies are adjusted, there will be an additional premium. We'll pay that out the 2024 budget. But when it comes up for renewal, it's just like when you add a car to leave a car, you pay the money for the policy period for the new vehicle, but then the renewal is going to catch up with you, and you've got to pay that higher price on the renewal. So with that being said, we may see a deficit on the insurance line every year, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure I was clear with that, because it's a challenge in the court.
I don't have the amount, they've audited us. And we are insured for the amount that we were insured for with the municipal league with no co-insurance now, which is a much better insurance than co-insurance was. And we've got, if we have a $10 million loss, and that's what we're insured for, we'll get $10 million if something comes through. If we needed $26 million, we're still not covered. And they've sent an auditor down here, and he's done everything, and he has not got back with us. Really wanting to have that done before the end of the year, but he has not got back with us. Our premium was a lot cheaper than we had, and there's some money there, but in the budget, I just put what I thought. I kind of guessed at what the premium value is going to be on all of our properties, because the guy was pretty open with us when he was around, so I was writing numbers down, and we put those down. I think we're pretty close with what we've got in the budget. I'll know that when he gets back with us. So we don't have that audit back yet. The city of Glenwood is way, way, way underinsured if we have a loss. Sewer plant's got $600,000. That's a $10 million facility sitting out there. And so if a tornado come through like it did at Derrick's, and you wipe out a $10 million facility, we got $600,000 a day to cover it. That's not good. But we're working on getting that fixed. And we're moving as fast as we can move, because we can't make the insurance company. They did bind us at the old policy amounts with no co-insurance. So we're bound at that amount, and then as quick as they get that, we'd need to pay. Brenda, that premium was due in November, wasn't that when we paid it? So we'd need to pay from now to November, which is almost a full year, and then in November, we could be hit with next year's insurance premium. But there's more money in there because we've already paid part of the money, and the full amount that we think it's going to be is in the budget. So you won't use all of that money, but you will be short.
So, my next topic is, and thank you for clarifying that, is streets. For those of you who do not know, my husband's an architect, and he did watch the meeting, he watches everything in the meeting, he watched it last, for December. And he had some questions, so he was asking me 1,001 questions, and I was like, I have no idea, so, he was all asking me about Americans with Disabilities Act and highway departments and all that, because he knows he was doing with that. So, I don't have an answer, but Mayor Slider was willing to meet with both of us, so my husband could actually look at the plan and look at things like bid specs and all of that good stuff. And thank you again for spending a couple of hours with us. I know that your time is very valuable. So in that meeting, it's very clear, and I may not be correct on this number, but it's about $47,000 that was brought up in the December meeting. But it's very clear that this work was not included in the original bid process, but it still has to be done to be in compliance. So from what I gather, and correct me if I'm wrong, the prior administration didn't include some items that needed to be done when they formed it out to Frank to actually do the drawings and then send the contractor for bid. So, Frank, at Dale Frank, didn't include that portion of the work in his drawings because they weren't requested to draw those plans. And as a result, a portion of that work wasn't bid out to contractors. Therefore, the contractors didn't perform this work. Now, my question is, not a question, it's a statement. How can an engineer or contractor do work that they were never asked to do? How can a contractor work off a set of plans that doesn't include work? So where we are today, as a result of a highway department inspection, is that this work has to be done for compliance. So it's my understanding that the 47,000 or so will come from the street reserve account, right?
If it ends up being that amount, because we did not agree on his number, and the council told me that we're only gonna pay what's in the bid, like we said. I'm not looking at the bid, if it's $200 a square foot for the concrete, just throw a number out there, I'm not looking at the bid. They're gonna get paid what's in their bid that they got on the job. They're gonna get paid that, no more. So we're not gonna, unless there's way more work to do than, I don't think there is, but we're gonna pay them per unit price, just like they're on contract for. We're not paying for mobilization again and all that stuff, we're not doing it. Cause they're gonna be back, they gotta come back up here and redo about 80% of these handicap ramps anyway, they've got them all wrong. So, and that's on them, that's not on us.
Right, so these, what I'm talking about is not, it's independent of what the contract and that stuff, that's something different.
That's different, yes.
Right, what I'm talking about is, the items that were required of us, that were never put into the specs in the first place. They were never in the drawings from Frank to get to the contract with it. So, I'm coming here to you to ask the council to consider that in my, meeting with Billy, understanding and looking at the actual drawings. And I encourage you to look at the drawings if you question that. But I do, I am asking for the council to consider that, you know, that you both look at this and
That work is not in the budget. So that would come out of
Wasn't they
reserve.
wanting us to pay for hotels and pay for?
We're not doing any of
Yeah,
that.
they
We're
want us
paying
to do
for
a
the
bunch
line item, the only thing, and
I
that's what
think
y'all.
that's where it went kinda crazy, was they was wanting like,
The per diem.
yeah,
Yeah.
per diems, and it
And-
just
You had
got
like
away from the
you had
work.
$8,000 worth of
Transportation.
product, and then you had $30-something thousand worth of labor in there. It's like,
Right.
that didn't know.
They're gonna get paid what's in their contract, like if they do a foot of curb, whatever the original contract says curb is, if that's $100, they're gonna get paid $100 a foot. That's what they're gonna get paid. They're not gonna get that $47,000 the way they build it. I guess you could get the $47,000 if they, I don't think there's that much stuff to be redone out there, but they're gonna be units just like was in the contract for what they've already bid work, demo and everything's in there, so that's the way they're gonna pay that.
you know, this is independent of what they have to fix, and I agree with you, that you shouldn't be paying for the and all that. But this is independent, this is the work that should have been done, but were never in the
Right.
drawings, it never got to the contract.
I'm with you, what they sent us was, the bid looked pencil whipped, it just did, right, it just didn't look good.
So anyway, so that, you know, again, I want to thank them for meeting with us and going through that, because it's quite a process to look through all that. So, my last comment about streets is, you know, I'm gonna say, I'm disappointed that the tax reallocation, as a result of that, the street funding is a lot less than it used to be prior to that vote, okay? And are there, the question is, are there any considerations in the 24 budget to absorb that loss in funding of the streets? Are we just gonna, and I know that we're in line for some grants that is coming next year.
No, that money that we're spending, that money that we reallocated to other departments, that's just gone from the street department. It'll never be back there. The street department won't flourish and be able to do all the paving that we're doing. We'll still do some every year. But instead of $200,000 or $300,000 a year, we'll be doing $100,000.
But we have the ability to, if we have a problem that needs to be fixed, we'll have the ability to move it around more so. See,
Right.
that was what we'd run into, was we weren't able to fix the problem in front of us. We were able to, you know, fix some hypothetical problem that might occur 10 years from now, when you got an obvious problem in front of you, and so that give us a little bit of leeway. So, I mean, I ain't disagreeing with Billy, but sure, if we have to do something, we're gonna wind up doing it. We can amend the budget every month if we have to fix our stuff. Give
We
us some
also
leeway.
can't let everything else fall apart.
That's
because streets need to have so much money, you know? If we
That's
do
right.
$100,000 a year, then sacrifice everything else, you know, we have to do other things besides just water, sewer, streets.
Yeah, they
you
did,
know?
revote and reallocate the
Correct.
sales tax didn't give us any more money. It just made it where we could, try to keep the police department with 3 officers in it. And try to put, excuse me, money in animal control, a little bit of money in parks that we didn't have, so.
Right, the way that it was written, we could only use it for certain things and how it came in, so now.
I'm still disappointed about the streets. So that-
Well, I'm very disappointed about the streets, but we couldn't do any, I mean, people seem, and I'm with them on it, they want to see 3 officers be here. And Linwood needs more than 3 officers, but we've not, the budget, if we don't move that money, the budget won't support the two officers. It's just not there. And so, we had to, I'm glad we did what we did. It's gonna hurt the street department a little bit. If you also look at your income on the water this year, it looks like the water department's filthy rich, because it's gonna have $400,000 more income in it this year than expenses. But you gotta remember, we got 2 note payments coming up. That's not even bid yet. And that money is all, we reallocate all that money to take care of those 2 projects. So we're not gonna have to ask the voters again. The $7 million worth of work we gotta do, the money's already sitting there to pay that. And we'll have to vote on some ordinances and all that, but we won't have to go back to the voter and get that redone. So if you look at the water department income this year, it's gonna look like, well, they're doing so much money, but we don't have those 2 projects funded.
So there is a street reserve fund there, right?
There's over $1 million.
Yeah.
So, okay, so my third comment is about the city employee raises. And, this was mentioned in the November 27th council meeting at the March 46, 22. And I do see that reflected in the 24 proposed budget. So, I do believe that the raises for city employees as well as the economy the way it is. So I don't disagree with that at all. I think it's like I said, what I would do. What I'm asking here is for total transparency. And I would ask if there are any on the council that may have family members that work for the city, that they either recuse themselves from the vote of budget that includes the raise or give full disclosure of relationship. A voter yes would be fiduciary advantageous to the immediate family member. I understand that refusing from voting for or against the 24 budget affects more than just this one line item. But what I'm asking for is full transparency to the public, and if there are any relationships from the council to the employees. Now, I know I'm not saying this negatively because it's not a direct report. I get that. But I do think that if we have council that have city employees and they're voting on those raises, that it should be disclosed to the public.
We don't control the raises, that's the mayor.
You vote on the budget.
Yeah, he just puts it in, we don't see who they are. He just puts in their salaries. We don't see what they make.
They can.
We can if we want it, but he just proposes it, how's it, I gotta look at it, just look
I
at it.
agree with you on the transparency.
I agree with
part.
that, but I'm just saying, we
I
don't,
don't have to know what it is. I think
Yeah.
it's well deserved.
he just puts in their, what's the word I'm looking for, salary. And we
It's
approve
because-
that.
What does it matter?
Right. I mean,
I will say this.
I mean, I can
the
understand
recusal-
if you're giving them a $10 extra.
I mean, that's fine. If you want
but
me to
it's-
recuse myself, I can. I
Well, hey, the
mean,
recusal
everybody
is
knows
only
that
if the-
she's my daughter-in-law, you know what I mean? And that's not a big deal. If you would like me to recuse myself on
No,
that,
I-
I have
I'm
no
saying
idea
full
what she
disclosure.
makes.
Yeah.
I'm saying full disclosure.
I
Well,
think
basically,
everybody already knows that.
except for the police department, and if y'all wanna look in the budget, there's a sheet in there with how much money's paid to each department salaries. I don't have the individual names broken
No,
down.
because you can't, unless it's
But,
not in this one.
the police department got more than a 5% raise, because we were way out of line with them. But all the rest of the city employees got a 5%, roughly a 5% pay raise.
Hey, I will say this, Billy, on a recusal, and I've studied this quite a bit, actually quite a lot, but, because I'm on 3 different things right now, but over the recusal, the way I understand it is that a person recuses themselves, the decision of recusal is given to the person, is the only person that makes that decision is the person that's voting if they feel like that they cannot be even. If they feel like they're conflicted, they recuse themselves, like a judge or whatever. But only, there's no set law that tells you must recuse yourself. When they were voting on my wife for mayor, I did recuse myself, but I wouldn't have had to, but I did. But anyway.
So I'm just talking about for the sake of transparency. I mean, if you remember, Mayor Flyler excused himself from the room entirely when the council voted on Flyler as a vendor. And he didn't have to do that, but he wanted to avoid the look of impropriety.
Right.
And that's what it's all about, is total
Well, I had Ida had no idea what the raise was gonna be for city employees, you know, and it,
Not that what should be for every state you go to that, it's been wrong from, I just think that for transparency, we have the income and we
Well, I presented a budget, and if y'all want to amend anything in it, y'all can do that tonight. And I did make changes, there's a lot of changes in this from the budget I gave you, because we're not getting a $150,000 paving project grant, so there's no need putting that in the budget. We did get the project for the sidewalk, so that's in the budget. And we got the $35,000 COP grant, so I raised the hours from 10 to 16 for part-time too. So this year we'll have 3 police officers plus 16 hours a week of part-time too. And unless y'all take that out, now that's y'all's call, because all I can do is present you, and really y'all were supposed to do these amendments in this, but I did them, so hopefully if y'all agree with them, we can move on tonight and approve it. If there's something in there y'all don't like, y'all need to, this is y'all's budget, and we'll go by what y'all tell us to. The only thing we have spent in this budget, we bought that skid steer. There's $100,000 in the budget for equipment, and we bought that dozer blade for the skid steer, that was $6,000. So we spent $56,000 of the of the equipment money that's in the budget this year already.
So it really is not about the amount, it's transparency.
Okay.
So there is a payment and the rest is an employee, right?
correct.
So, my next thing, my next comment about pay is council members' pay. Currently, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no payment to council members, right?
That's correct.
Is there some old city ordinance that would allow for that? Or, I mean,
The problem with that is, it's like paying the mayor $400, and you get what, $250?
256?
Yeah.
Come on. don't
The
think-
problem, that's just like this week, when it's out there freezing, I bought 3 meals for all the employees out of my pocket. I spent more than my $400 buying 3 meals for everybody we're gonna get the water line fixed, and I didn't turn that back in the city. We don't have the money, if you start paying salaries more than $400 to the mayor and more than $256 there, and start paying the council something, what are you gonna take away from in the budget? You're gonna take away police. That's really the only variable that's in city general that you can move that out of, right? Well, you could take some money away from the fire department, quit funding the fire department like we did for 5 years here. I mean, you could do that, if the council wants to do that. I'll present y'all with 2 more budgets. I will never put a pay raise for the council, the mayor, and the recorder treasurer.
Council don't get paid.
As long, you don't, and I'd get $400, and I'm never, if the council can if somebody can figure out a way to pay it, it'd be nice if they were paid for doing the job, but it's, when I was on the council years ago, we abolished this hour, they were paying us $30 a month. People were thinking we was getting paid, and I said, that is a crock of bull, I'd rather just do it as a community service and be done with it. And we abolished the salary for the council, was it $30 or $45 a month? But anyway, we took that away, and
Buy you a cheeseburger now.
if we could, if you could find some money, it would be nice. To me, the council ought to be paid. They got a lot of expense in it. I've got a lot of expense in it, but.
I mean, I'm just thinking like maybe, and I know that 2024 is budget's gonna be tight, but, once you see taxes like, Ron mentioned, like what our taxes are gonna be, kind of, we have to maybe to the 24 budget. I'm just bringing this up, just, from what I see, council members typically get paid, and this is just an average that I did a little research on, $150 per meeting, and then $75 for each special meeting. And then the court treasurer gets paid for the meeting too, basically $250. But, and I get that some of the perform a city duty, but if there were to be some money that could be found, and you did make that money, then the regional accountant, increase your time or donate it to somewhere. But the fact of the matter is I understand that the time that you invest as a council member in there, and, you spend time time away from your family, you're here tonight, prep time for meetings, and then not to mention time spent with citizens that come and ask you questions all the time. That's a heck of a lot of time. I want to acknowledge that, because it's important, the work that you do, but I also would like to keep in the back of the mind that if there are some opportunities to fund payments of council, I'd like to see that. And the mayor works, $400 a month. I mean, I don't know how he does that. I don't know how Flyer does that, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, preparing budgets and all that good stuff. So I'm just kind of planting the seed, because I know that 2024 is not going to allow that, but I'll be the one that brings it up when we talk in 2025, because I know how important the jobs are.
It's important if we could just figure out a way to get some money, but till I get everything, I think the
As
council's
long
gonna
as-
agree, that we get the police department funded, the fire department funded, I don't think y'all are gonna vote yourself a pay raise in, we don't have the money to do that.
The only way I'd ever vote for a pay raise, I believe, not hold myself to it, for a pay at all, would be to vote for the incoming council person who's sitting in my seat.
There you go.
That'd be the only fair way to do it. I mean.
Well, for instance, you can't take away the mayor's salary and the recorder treasurer's salary after you've run. You can't come in there and take that away. You can give him a raise, but you can't take it away. That's the way you'd have to do it. You can't take
Do it
away,
On a new, yeah.
Yeah.
you can't take away
If I'm
something that he
sworn
run
in.
for. Oh, I run for mayor. Of course, I got appointed. I didn't run. I need that $400 a month. That's why I'm running.
Yeah.
You can't take that away. And Ryan's got over here, he's making $256. He's really getting rich too. But
That's who's buying people
I
tomorrow.
mean, you know, I knew that, none of y'all would probably bring that up.
Yeah, well,
but
thank you.
It is important
Thank you.
and just acknowledging that. So that's that for pay. And then my last comment is about animal control. And the $10,000 in the 24 budget, I see that, was mentioned in the November 27th meeting. And I'm happy about that, because that's one of the things I mentioned in the very start, and I like that. And, I'm not gonna look at gift horse in the mouth, but that's not a lot of money considering the stray pet population problem that exists in Glenwood. Just isn't free, I'm taking them involved, because somebody looking out, and I'm just not gonna do that. So, my question is that money kept in the city, or do you take that? And the reason I'm asking is because there's 3 nonprofits that I see on Facebook. And it kind of gets confusing as to where to go, who to call. Because sometimes I see they reach out to Councilwoman Brady, and then sometimes the city, and then sometimes, and I just found this one a couple of days ago, Nova Region Dog Rescue. So it says there a dog rescue in Glenwood, so it kind of gets confusing. Then you have spots out there too. So could y'all clarify if spots still exist,
Let me,
what they're doing?
I'll take
or-
this one. Spots retired after they did it for 14 years. They continue to do a spay and neuter clinic. They do 2 or 3 clinics a year. They run it out of the county fairgrounds. They still have equipment over at the animal control building, and they have a locked storage container that's actually the city's. The city allows them to use it. They pick up their equipment, they do a spay and neuter clinic. That's the only involvement they have. As far as us as a shelter, my wife and I created a shelter after Spots decided to retire, in order to help this community out. We actually get no money whatsoever from the city. There's not a dime. Actually, that $256 I make a month probably goes to feeding the dogs. The city themselves buy the adult dog food, okay, at the shelter. We buy all the puppy food. We do all the euthanizations, or not euthanizations, but all the vaccinations, all the rabies shots, all the spay and neuters. We provide that. The city doesn't provide that. That's us as a shelter. There are a couple other shelters. Nova is one of them that just now is starting to help work with us. She's talking about creating a shelter. More power to her. Hopefully she does. We have, 17 dogs in our house alone? So, at our house, let alone the dogs at the shelter. I don't know if people think it's a lucrative business being a shelter, but if anybody wants some of these dogs, they're more than welcome to come and get some, honestly. you know, truly. We get no funding whatsoever from the city. That pays for the water that's at the animal control building, the electricity at the animal control building, the dog food, and it pays for the animal control guy about 7 hours a week. You know, maybe next year it might be 3 hours a week, but and that's what it pays for. This increase that we got, hopefully it'll allow that animal control guy to be there more than 3 hours a week. Maybe he'll be there 10 hours a week, I don't know.
There's a lot of repair that has to happen.
There is
as
a lot of
well.
repair.
The trailer's falling apart. There's holes in the floor, there's holes in the deck.
Everything that has
I mean,
been
it's
not taken
literally
care of
falling
in the
apart.
past is now,
The maintenance hasn't happened, so, I mean, you can tour it, you know, let us know. We'll take you on a tour. If you don't step carefully in that building, you will fall through the floor. So it is not safe. And this money probably is gonna have to go to fixing
Some parts of it, for
some
sure.
parts of it, you know, because it's not safe.
but we have no say in animal control. We have no,
Right.
we have nothing to
Right,
do with
I
animal
don't
control.
choose the dogs that get picked up in the city. That's not how that works. And there's been a lot of talk on Facebook that, you know, our rescue controls animal control. That's not true. We don't control animal control at all. They do their own thing. They pick up the dogs that they feel necessary. They take them to the animal control building. And then it's our volunteers that care for the animals once they're taken in.
Clean the
That's what we do.
facility, help to
They
get them
clean, they
adopted.
feed, they take care of the animals, they walk them, they play with them. That's what our rescue does.
And that's all strictly volunteer based. I mean,
And,
we're
and
100%
animal
volunteer based.
control asks us to post dogs that they find as strays. So that's why people get very confused, because they want us to post those dogs so they get seen and people can claim them,
That may
basically.
be one thing that they can put on their website.
You know, and it would help
Lost
if
dogs.
animal control put it on the city website instead of us, because it does get very confusing. People do think that we're animal control. We get calls, people, you know, say, come pick up this stray. Well, I can't do that. You know, we can't physically pick up a dog and take it to the city's animal control. Animal control has to do that. You know, but it is confusing, and I see how that happens, but
But one of the only agreements that we have with them is that we won't bring in dogs. You know, we won't bring in dogs to the animal control building. If we ever bring in a dog, really, it comes to our house. So as a shelter, if we bring in a dog, it comes to our house. It doesn't go to the animal control building. That's all animal control that does that. They're the ones that write tickets, don't write tickets, that's up to them. You know, we have no say in that.
So how close are we to enforcing some sort of licensure or anything?
So,
It costs money.
We're still working on re-evaluating the ordinances and stuff like that. That's one of the tasks that we're trying to do, you know, Carrie as a councilwoman is trying to do in order to, but they also have to have the manpower to enforce it.
right, to have an animal control person that is enforcing those things, we have to pay somebody more than 7 hours a week or 3 hours a week, whatever it's gonna be, for him to do his job.
3 hours a week
Who's
ain't
gonna
no
go
good
out there
deal.
and write tickets to all these people? I mean, the dogs that are loose running out there, their owner should have a ticket, because they're not supposed to be running the streets. But how are we gonna pay somebody to track down their owner, find the dog, catch the dog, track down the owners on 3 or 7 hours? You know, it's not gonna happen. You know, so this is definitely a process. We've gotta start somewhere, you know?
And we're in the
But it's
very
true.
first year of our animal shelter, as to where when Spots retired, they were at their 14th year, you know. The amount of money that they got on donations compared to what we get on donations, like I said, we're 100% volunteer based, 100% donation based, you know, so it's very little, you know, what we can do. I mean, I did a dog today, got a dog spayed today, got a dog getting spayed tomorrow, and that's pretty much, our funds are completed, you know, until we do another fundraiser. We cooked food on Monday at the Blue Lily for, you know, for people. Until we do something like that again, we'll be out of money, you know. That's just the way it is. I
Well,
mean,
thanks for clarifying, because it was getting confusing.
and it does. I mean, it's hard when people ask questions and they don't let you completely finish, you know what I mean? Like, I know that there's been other people in here that have said things, and I've tried to correct that, and it just gets shot down. But we have no true affiliation with the animal control building, besides we're there to help.
Well, hopefully this platform, people will watch it.
Yeah, I doubt it, but
The platform of Facebook, really, you know, people put out what they want to say, whether it's right or wrong, they say it. you know, and then they block you, so you can't comment back and say, actually, that's not correct, so then I'm blocked, I can't see their pages, but people send me what they're saying, you know, and it's incorrect, but yet it's out there, and there's really not a lot of people that are standing up and saying, no, that's wrong, you know, so until somebody says, hey, this is not okay, that's not right, you know, it's out there as misinformation. And that causes a huge problem, the misinformation.
And we're also in the process of trying to build another shelter completely away from the city, and we will pull completely out of the city. And that's gonna create its own problem, because then the city is gonna have to full-time, not about full-time, but clean more, take care of the animals more, and that's gonna put a burden on the city.
So I don't understand it, because I
Well, that's the way it's gonna be, because,
used to do that.
you know, but,
Clean twice a day, you still pick up animals, and you still have to take them to the vet,
Right.
you still have to do
Red
this.
water
You got-
meters.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, I've got a water leak.
Yeah.
Right.
so, once we pull out of the city completely, that's gonna be up to the city to do that. You know, right now, we're giving a lot of free work. I mean, it's probably close to 8 hours a day on average that we give, our volunteers give anyways, a day, 7 days a week. Rain or shine, snow, it don't matter, you know, so,
Well, again, thank you for clarifying that. I think
All right,
that is important. Thank you.
Thank you.
audience, y'all got any more questions on the budget before we approve the budget for next year? Anybody got any questions that we didn't answer?
the fun part again.
Councilman, have y'all got any questions?
So on the employees, we were looking at, there's not a person for animal control on there, even though we have a.
Animal control does not have employees, staff, it comes out of one of the other departments, and then you pay it back. You take that 3 hours, because it's not a 3-hour job, so.
Right.
You pay 3 hours, and then once a year, you put that money back from, if it's street or water and sewer where the guy's paid for it's doing it, then you pay that back into city general in that budget. So no, we do not have a person that's
Okay,
strictly,
That's what I was, you know, because there wasn't anybody for parks or animal control.
That's
on
correct.
this
That's
part of
correct.
it.
The same
That's
thing if
correct.
they go, like the sanitation guy, if he goes and picks up, or works at the park, she'll, at the end of the year, she keeps up how many hours and she pays that park bill.
Got it.
well, that's not really necessarily true, because you haven't had the money to do
Well,
that.
But I'm saying
The
that's how she
department
does
that's
it.
got the money, he's been eating it most
Yeah.
of the time.
It currently sounds like our exit strategy is load them up and take them to another city and tow them out. Sounds like we're not funded well enough to do, you know, if y'all donate, y'all said 8 hours a day, so that's 56 hours a week that volunteers are chipping in.
That's at least one person, if not.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So,
So,
but, all right, so, City of Glenwood 2024 Budget Resolution, Resolution 2402. A resolution providing for the adopting of the budget for the City of Glenwood, Arkansas for the 12-month period beginning January 1st, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024, appropriating money for each and every item on the expenditure therein. Whereas Section 2 of Act Number 28 of 1959 provides that the City Council shall adopt an annual budget for operation of the city government for the calendar year, and whereas the City Council of Glenwood has made a comprehensive study and review of the proposed budget, and whereas it is the opinion of the City Council of Glenwood that the schedule and the exhibits of the financial information prepared and reviewed revealing anticipated revenue and expenditures for the calendar year appears to be accurate as possible for the budgetary purpose. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the City Council of Glenwood, Arkansas, Section 1, this resolution shall be known as the 2024 Budget Resolution for the City of Glenwood, Arkansas, for the balance of the 12-month period beginning January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024, reflecting estimate revenues and expenditures as hereafter set forth in the 2024 budget attached to containing approximately 9 pages. The appropriations made herein include additional pay for holiday and all agents, servants, and employees of the City of Glenwood, including but not limited to the uniform employees as provided by the state of Arkansas. All revenues herein are estimated and subject to change, and our appropriations are calculated upon available revenues and are also subject to change. Section 2, whereas by reason of the fact that the city of Arkansas, or city of Glenwood of Arkansas, are required by law to adopt an annual budget each year beginning January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024, in order to operate the city government. Now, therefore, this resolution being necessary for the preservation of all public peace, health, and safety shall take effect, force from after its passage and approval.
Do I have a motion to accept resolution 2402?
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Okay, so Jimmy and Chris seconded it. Alan Moore,
Go carry that straight.
well, Gary Brady,
Aye.
Alan Moore,
Aye.
Chris Fuller,
Aye.
and Jimmy Clark.
Aye.
All approved.
Okay. The next thing, because it's affecting the budget, if you look at that grant we've got on the sidewalk project, those pages there is the estimated cost of the project and breakdown that y'all have already approved, but that's where the numbers come from that I'm working with in the budget. So that's just an information sheet on that project. That is not bid, that project is not bid yet, so it will have to be bid, and hopefully those numbers are gonna be good. The next two packets y'all got, y'all may not wanna get in a lot of detail on them. This is the funding that is so far done on the refinance of the water and sewer department. And this is all the paperwork you'll need to go through that. If y'all got any questions on it, this is all the paperwork that ties, the short version of all the paperwork. If you got it all, it'd be a book, but this is a short version basically of all of the, everything that's going on with the water and sewer bonds that are done today. We still have 2 to do. And then that shows you one sheet shows you the balances of money that's in the departments. Oh, hang on, the next sheet is something else. Are y'all good with all of that? There's really nothing to vote on there. That was all, y'all voted on that in a lot of meetings before, but this is all the paperwork, the final paperwork on it. I just gave you a copy of it. Okay? The next thing, we are not in compliance with our rent on our building over there. You read the contract of Tidwell, we're supposed to be providing liability insurance over there, and the city is excluded from that. And so in my opinion, you don't need to pay the building off and let's go on. And Brenda's got it down there, we owe $168,500, be done with it. Right now, if we have a fire over there or destruction of that building, Glenwood gets none of the money. Goes to Randy. And I'm not arguing with Randy about that. That's just the way the lease is written. So we need to get out of that. That's our building, and we need the money for it if something happens to it, not Randy. And we do not have liability insurance over there. Or if somebody slipped and fall, the city's got tort immunity. He does not. And he wants that on the building, so you're gonna have to take out another insurance policy if you're not gonna pay the building off. I don't see any need in taking out another $20,000 insurance
Let me
policy.
ask you a question. Have we approached him about waiving his requirement?
He wants that in there. He said, y'all gonna have to give me a rider that says, I'm not liable. We can't do that.
I say just pay it off and be done with
To me, they just pay it off. If the city wanted it, you got it.
If we've
You're
already,
occupied in it, pay the thing off and move on. We've got the money. I'd rather not be in an argument if you had a claim. I'm not looking for a building to get destroyed over there.
yeah,
But if something does happen and the building gets destroyed, if we don't get the money, we can't build our building back where we're sitting. And that's the way his lease agreement says. We pay the premium and he gets the money. So we're renting a building, we're not leasing it. And I'm not arguing with you about it. To me, we need to clean this up. And it's gonna cost you $168,500. That's what you agreed to pay for it. $200,000 what you agreed to pay for it. You paid $31,500 on it so far. and we're not in compliance with the lease agreement. And we can't buy liability insurance because the city's it's got tort liability. So our insurance policy, we've got to cancel that and go buy another policy if we're gonna do that.
I'll make a motion, we just go ahead and pay it off and be done with it.
Have a motion to pay it off and move on. Have a second? Second, any more discussion? Roll call?
Jimmy Clark,
Uh,
Alan Moore,
Abstain.
okay. Chris Fuller,
Aye.
okay, 3-1.
Okay. All right. Brett had to go, Brett's back. We're trying to find, we bought a blade to go on the skid steer where if it snowed, and this was ice this time. The city has no equipment to work on roads with. So I was looking at a salt, and, that salt dog is a, sand and salt machine that costs you $5,131. But Brett's been talking to the state, and they're going more to a liquid brine. And do y'all want me to proceed? You're not gonna spend more than that $5,000 or $6,000 to get something we can start combating bad road. And you may not use it for 2 years. That's the problem with this stuff. You may get it, it may sit up there but when you get to needing it, you can't go.
And it works off of a skid steer?
No, that brine tank would just go in the back of the truck and you'd buy.
In the back of the truck.
That, Brent thinks we need to go with a liquid, is what the state's going through with and the county's going through with more. We need to do some more talking. So you might buy a 1,000-gallon septic tank and plumb it up and put a pump on it
Yeah.
to spray the brine with.
Yeah.
Brine nothing but salt water. They have a little bit of other stuff in it, but we need to do something so people can get out on the streets if it does this. And if we don't have it, if we hadn't got it purchased, the guys didn't have anything to work with this time.
Who sells these right here? I'm sure it's in here, but
Snow blowers at Jack's.
Can you still buy, does the state still sell their old stuff like this at a consignment, the big shops you go to?
That's on the back of the big truck, and usually that salt stuff is,
so
Yeah, it's-
does the Southall sell this?
no, this is, he doesn't sell any of that. He doesn't sell that. But Brent thinks we may need to look, instead of getting this, we may need to look at doing a liquid.
That's what they're using, it works.
Well,
Liquid,
So we can look at whatever you want me to go to. I'm not looking at
look at your
spending
highways.
$6,000 maybe, if y'all want me to proceed in that manner.
We need
To
something.
doing liquid or doing sand, to me it wouldn't hurt to do both, but we gotta do something. It's embarrassing the city when we can't take money.
The good thing about sand is after the snow's gone, the sand is still there. That's good and bad. But it's, it's not something you'd have to do probably as frequently, but it may be more, it may work better, be more efficient the first round. I really don't know, but sand kind of gives you a little.
What's the cost of the sand salt mixture versus the brine?
That's what I say.
Yeah.
I don't know all the variables.
I'm gonna get, if y'all are okay with it, and want to work on it, I'll get with the highway department
Yeah.
and let them tell me what they're going, because whatever they're doing, they do it more than we do.
Yeah.
If we can get set up like they
Well, if
are.
you notice, they went out and pre-treated before it hit, and then look how quick the highways, I mean, I know they worked on a little bit, but some spots they weren't even nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if y'all want me to work on that, that's something we've never had. I
One
will
thing
work
we
on
do
it.
need to ask though is find out for sure is this liquid they're going to, is it a treatment after or a treatment before? Which one are we gonna have
Both.
to do?
Both.
Both, okay.
Yeah.
So, alright.
It is both, but I'm not, the one I'm more familiar with, when I got to looking, was this right here, and then he comes back and talks to me that the state's moving away from salt and sand, and they're moving more to the brine. And if y'all want me to pursue it,
He
They're
may be
not gonna
onto
be able-
something. He
And
may be
Brent-
onto, if they're moving away from it, they may have them.
It doesn't even look like they have a pump on them, because when I drove behind one the other day, it looks like it's just gravity fed, just lets it drain. Yeah.
So we need a motion to table this until.
well,
we
if
have
y'all
options.
want me to do it, I'm in, well within my
Just, yeah,
allotted
look-
budget. I just don't wanna do something, I don't like to do stuff without making y'all aware I'm doing it, so. If
Yeah,
y'all want me to
I
proceed
do.
with it, I'll
Yeah.
proceed with it. If you don't wanna proceed with it, I'm not gonna worry about
Get
it.
some more info, yeah, see what's
Okay. The next thing, y'all approve that dozer blade, that was $9,500. That's money in this year's budget. Would y'all please accept that? I did a phone call and everybody agreed to that, but would y'all go ahead and approve that, so it's in the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
Okay, Jimmy Clark,
Aye.
Terry Brady,
Aye.
Chris Fuller, Alan Moore, all approved.
Okay, the next thing, on the list, I think Kerry had, and them had looked at that. We've got some strange people, of course, coming into City Hall over there to our building, and they're wanting to put cameras up. It's $1,672.97. That's no labor to put them in. That's just strictly the cost of 8 cameras. We're gonna have cameras over here in this building.
But because we moved and there's no police department over there, there is money over there, there's constantly being water bills being paid and stuff like that. I asked to get a price on the cameras for safety of our employees, for multiple different things, not only just the safety of our employees, but also lawsuits and everything else. You know, someone does fall, whatever, I just think cameras are a good thing to have when we're dealing with money.
You're looking at, you'd probably, I don't know how many hours DJ had hooking all this up. You've got to run wires and hook the cameras up. You're probably looking at,
I'm not against it, but I don't wanna do it until we own the building.
I think it's necessary now, you know. there's
well, if
just-
y'all voted to do the building, we should own the building pretty quick.
As long as he, okay.
Because y'all voted to buy the building, so we're gonna own the building.
Yeah,
It's just my opinion.
We'll own the building.
it was a lease purchase and there wasn't no penalty for
That's all
paying
I'm
it off
saying.
early or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's, and the reason I abstain is I eat lunch with him once or twice a week, so, and in full disclosure, I'm not the one, I didn't even know anything about that building deal. That was Karen Baker, the previous councilwoman, that even brought that up. I didn't even go look at it the night they introduced it, so
Okay.
let that show the record.
But anyway, do y'all wanna do the cameras now or y'all wanna wait?
I think
Or do you wanna do the
now.
cameras? I mean, it's,
I
somebody
make
put
the
them.
motion to do the cameras now.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion is second to buy the cameras. That's a camera and a switch and the wire, and then the labor will be on top of that to put
The
it in.
labor, I had a camera system installed at one of my offices, which is gonna be very similar to that style deal, and it's in Hope, but, a couple days labor to do it right. You know, if it's a wired system, it's a lot better. in a
It's
lot of
gotta be
ways.
wired. Yeah, it's gonna be
a lot
wired.
better.
So we got a motion second, Chris Fuller,
If he orders the stuff, it'd be a week out and probably a week or two before he even got.
Yeah, it's gonna be a month before it gets.
And how
put in.
fast would it be for us to purchase the building?
Just tell Randy to get the deed ready, get the title insurance brought up to date, I would think.
'Cause I-
That's gonna be how quick the title
I'm
insurance.
agreeing with
company
both
will.
sides. I'm just,
I just don't wanna do it until we own it. That's just, I agree
kinda
with the cameras.
But I agree with y'all. at the same
Something
time.
falls
I know
through,
we
we're
need
stuck
one.
with $1,600.
The thing's not gonna fall through, because you got a lease purchase agreement on it, it can't fall through.
Don't count on nothing until it's done.
Okay.
That's
So
my
if you got a
opinion.
lease purchase, he's not gonna, I don't think he's gonna balk on his
Well, whether we
purchase.
rent it or buy it, they're still handling money every day.
These balls, I'll pay for the cameras myself.
Aye.
You have a motion second on the floor.
Hey.
we got, Chris said aye.
Thanks.
Clark, nay. 3-1.
Okay. All right, that's all I've got on my list tonight. Does anybody in the audience have anything else?
We didn't even have
Yeah,
cameras over here looking.
You're still 3 weeks.
I'm up. I got one thing I want to say before this. One thing that I would like to see our city do, and if you watch any news or whatever, and I don't beat on the news all the time, but I would like for our council to be in consideration of, over the next few days or few weeks, whatever, something that give our law enforcement a guideline as far as people setting up temporary structures. I'm not talking about camping with your kids in the backyards for a weekend or a week or whatever, but setting up temporary structures and panhandling in our city limits in front of different places. I think that it's coming our way. It's gonna be here. I know it ain't gonna happen now. Right now, we don't have any targets in mind. It's a perfect time to get it in place before we do have a target and are set up for a lawsuit.
What
Just y'all
about-
think about it.
Would that apply for like, Eclipse, if there's people decide they're gonna camp, you know what I mean?
No, we could forego
Well,
it.
I'm just
for-
saying, but
yeah.
they may just put a tent out in your yard and you can't do anything
No,
about it.
I'm talking about short term. I'm talking
Oh, I'm
about,
just saying, they may put a tent out in your yard, you can't do anything about it.
We'll charge them rent.
you can't do anything about it.
No. If you don't have them ordinances in place,
Well, I'm all about getting us something in place while we don't have anything cooking that I know of, or whatever, let's get it in place, something that's clean bill, or a resolution that states, you know, you'll be warned the second time you're approached by an officer, you'll be fined, or however, and let it go from there, and just.
What do the other cities, Hot Springs and stuff like that, why do they allow that? Is there a,
Hot Springs did until 5 years ago, and they've done it, and you got people on every corner now.
Yeah.
do you know why they allow that?
Now,
Okay, because the city that I came from, we had an ordinance, and then it was something about your freedom of speech or something like that, and they basically allowed them to do it because
Well,
they
let
had
me-
no other choice.
Their constitutional right.
So, but there's also like competing there's all sorts of other things that will fall in that, but there's something there, because like I said, our city was big on,
There's other cities that have what I'm talking about, that do have it in place, but I'll give you an example. Let's say that you're coming down Hot Springs, and you pull over, and there is a 15-year-old kid standing there saying, I'm hungry. You walk and you pull up, your heart, smites you, whatever, you get out $20 bill or whatever, and you give it to that kid. Somebody catches that on video. Are you soliciting a minor? You pay an older person, you give them some money. They stick something in your car? Are you doing a drug buy? I mean, there's a whole lot of variables that come into that. It's just not a clean, it's just not a good look.
and I agree, I'm just making sure that it's strong enough to where it can be upheld, I guess,
Right, I got you.
is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I'm not sure,
If you can find some ordinances you want us to look at, that'd be the thing to do, is find some ordinances that some other towns have got and bring it to the council and let them look at it.
Yeah, and for them to be actually challenged, it'd have to be the right person that would take it all the way up to whatever, so probably for the general public, it would, generally, it would solve our problem, I do believe. But anyway,
All right?
We don't even have a traffic light,
No.
they've got one spot to stand, basically.
Right.
182 if they're on the bridge, but.
yeah.
That's dangerous right there.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about kids raising cookies for money for Girl Scouts.
Right, but there
and
have been
fathers.
people that have stood out at the four-way at panhandling.
Right.
So they did, they actually in Hot Springs, they bust an engine go off.
Yeah,
It
that's
used to be a
ridiculous.
nuisance over there.
Yeah.
But anyway, anybody in the audience got anything else you want to say tonight?
That's my turn.
Your turn again?
I
Okay.
make a motion we adjourn.
Okay. Have a motion to adjourn? Have a second? Roll call.
Chris Fuller? Aye. And Jimmy Clark? Aye. All in favor?
Hey, don't think what I'm saying. Okay.
I didn't get my feelings
I'm
hurt.
just saying,
I didn't.
You know, the cameras over here don't work. Never had cameras. They're just there.
They've had some
They're here.
customers
Yeah.
that have been,
I just don't
That
worry. It doesn't
Sure,
go
I
through.
want to.
I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't
Yeah.
go through, because it's kind of one of those things that was done before us, and like, we
I was
don't
on
really
that
get a say in that, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So,
I see it both
I
ways.
just want them to be
Well,
as
you've done a good
possible
job, buddy.
there.
Thanks, sir.
Oh, I agree there.
But I do know
We're
that
getting there.
comfortable with some of the customers, you know?
Because I know over here, I like it over there.
With what?
I thought she was going to. I thought that's why you said her to vote.
You turn that off, Jimmy.
Fix